So, hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, subscribe. Like, I don't understand why you're going to watch without subscribe. Just put the like, just subscribe. Even if after you're not going to, just subscribe. Let's make life easy to each other. As usual, my cup of tea, the tea of today is Zobo, hot Zobo. I actually stored 6 cups. We are going to find that one later. So the tea of today is really strong. I've just been thinking about it for like 2 days, and I said no, I'm going to talk about this. And at the same time, I don't know, it can be a method of sensitization for some people. So well, let's get into the chai. The tea is there, sweet. Okay, so this is my story, a real story. It's taking me back to 2010. Yes, 2010, when I just freshly finished secondary school. And of course I was very intelligent to get into medical school directly. I don't know about your country, but in my country, sometimes they will tell you, oh, you need to like spend 2 years biochemistry in public university before you can apply to write exam for medical school. Well, that's another story. I went to medical school first year, second, third year. And in my country, there is a system like, oh my God, sorry. There is a system, my tea. The tea is too much, like it just the system in my country is like, as a student, every student need a senior that is like 2 classes ahead of you. Like if you're in first year, you have a senior in third year. If you're in second year, you have a senior in fourth year and everything. It now happened that I was in my second year, and they started the senior thing. It happened that I had a senior which was in fifth year, not even fourth year. That's the first thing that was a bit weird about the whole stuff. And the senior was from another medical school. What are seniors for? Basically, your senior is just like somebody that is helping with the materials and everything, and it's more for not like theoretical part of the study, practical part at the hospital and everything. Your senior can give report of you, how you behave, how you attend cycles and everything. And I now had this senior, very interesting guy and everything. When he knew that he was my senior, he first of all ignored me, and me as well. I didn't really care about who is the senior or whatsoever. Now there was a party, and we met there with the senior. He was like, oh, you're Julio? Yeah, I'm your senior. Actually, I've heard of you, but I've never seen you face to face and everything. I say, oh well, it's you? Yeah, and everything. Of course, I'm not going to call his name. And we met, we were like, and everything. He told me, okay, there's too much noise here, and let's just meet calmly tomorrow, and so on and so forth. I said, no problem. Since it was a Sunday, the next day was a Saturday, a Sunday, because Saturday we used to go to school, a Sunday. And of course, it concerned me. Went, we met with the guy and everything. We met at the junction like this, and We met at the junction, and this is we talking and everything. How is medical school? Like, he's trying to get the gist and everything. I'm like, no, it's fine so far and so on. Meanwhile, my guy, medical school first year, show me rententen. Second year too wasn't so funny and everything. Like, I love the medicine. I had passion for medicine, but it's as if medicine wasn't having passion for me. Like, guy. Anyway, I won't come and tell him, oh, he's like this and so on and so. I just said, oh no, it's fine and so on. We are walking, talking and everything. He was now talking to me, oh, we have this group and everything, maybe you can join and so on. In my mind, I'm like, oh, group of study, that's really cool and so on. It would be very good. But I already had my people, like my friends, with whom we used to study and everything. In as much as even we studied together, I was the one explaining them and everything. Of course, they were also explaining, but I don't understand how they will pass. I will now fail the subject. The pain. So he was now explaining, and I said, okay, what's the group and everything? How do you study? And oh, no, it's not a study group and so on. It's not to study. Okay, it's not to study. If it's not to study, is it to party? No, it's not to party. Yay! It's not to party, it's not to study. Uncle, what is the group for? The guy now started speaking some kind of funny things and everything. The direction my guy was going, I'm like, Julio, I hope this is not happening to you. I hope this is not happening to you. And of course, it was happening to me. So, told me we're a group of students and everything. We meet really important people that come from abroad and so on and everything. Yes, that's why we are very intelligent. That's why we are as we are. You can see we have this and everything. And they were really living in very cool apartment, having a certain kind of life, like sweet. But it wasn't my business. Like, I had everything I needed. It wasn't as if I was living in I don't even know. I was living well. I had everything. And it happened that my guy was gay. Uncle Dos dropped the tea like this on the table. I say, hey, Kwesu. Anyway, I was just trying to keep my calm and everything. And back then, I was so scared of gay. Like, I was scared. I don't know why, but I don't know. I just used to be very scared of gay and so on and so forth. It was something very new and strange to me. I began to be scared, and I look on the street where just both of us. I say, this guy, he was huge, like this tall. If he's to run now, can I run? And so on. Well, that's how he just started, Before I know, Uncle was already touching my hand like, how far, brother? This and everything. He said, anyway, I'm going to give you time to think about it and come back so that we can continue the discussion. Are you in a hurry? And so on. In as much as I was scared, though, I didn't say I was in a hurry. I just said I had things to do. He said, okay, if you have things to do, we can just sit somewhere in a restaurant and eat. And I said, no, Uncle, I don't want to eat. Because in my mind, I was just like, what if we go there, he puts something in the food, or it's a restaurant, he knows the person, and I just left that one. He said, okay, no problem. Let's just go to the shop. Let me buy you some food stuff and everything. Uncle, I have food in the house. I beg you. Just release me. Let me go, my go. You go, your go. Hey, that's how he told me that, okay, no problem. Since you want to go, no problem. See you. Uncle wanted to beg me. I'm like, I gave the hand to greet him. He said, you really want to give me a handshake? Because the last person that gave me such a handshake ended up in my bedroom. I'm like, don't worry. I'm going to give you a handshake and we're not gonna enter any bedroom. And I gave the handshake. I took motorbike. I went home. I told the motorbike to change direction of walking because I didn't even want him to know what side of the city I was living in, because I wasn't living in the city where I grew up. The university was in another city. It was such a big fear to me. And another time we met again in a party, and when I saw him, I started being scared and everything. I decided to go back home. I'm walking and I'm feeling like somebody is actually after me. But when I turn, I can't see anybody. I continue walking. I was now paying attention at the shadow on the floor. I saw the shadow and I stopped. The shadow stops. And after, I don't know even what happened, I just called the name of the guy without even turning. I asked him, why are you following me? He now started smiling. I turned and I said, why were you hiding yourself? Because I knew somebody was following me. When I turn, I don't see and everything. He was like, nothing and everything. I just wanted to talk to you and everything. I said, if you want to talk to me, you call me, you speak to me. Why are you trying to like hide yourself and so on? This is how he was now like, let me, and where the party wasn't far from my house. He said, okay, let me just follow you to your house and everything. I said, uncle, no need. And it was late. He said, no, I want to know your. I said, no, I don't want you to know my house and everything. He was now like, okay, I'm not going to leave you. The fear. That is how I was now walking. And at the moment I told him that, okay, since you want to follow me, I live in the bush. And I actually knew my sector very well, my quarter. And there was one bush there, but it's not the way to my house. I just decided to take that bush because, let me drink the tea. I decided to take the bush. I said, if this guy now said that he's entering this bush today, that means I'm finished. He was now like, he will follow me. And I said, no. I noticed that he wanted to be a little bit violent. That is now how I started walking fast. I walk fast. After a moment, I don't know where the strength came. Bam! I started running. I entered the bush. As soon as I entered the bush like this, bam! He came close to the bush. He got scared. It's not because in that bush, actually, they used to attack people. Like, they used to rob people and so on. Me, when I was entering the bush, I was just like, better they just rob me than this one will follow me to my house. That's how I passed through the bush and I went to my house. Fear. I didn't even know how to explain this to my mother. I didn't know how to explain this to. I kept this story so much to myself before I could even explain to friends. And when I was even explaining to my friend, they were just laughing. And this is not where the thing ended. I thought, okay, it would just be like this and so on. And please, I'm talking like this. This uncle, he was a whole minister. He was the one in charge of the choir mass in our the Catholic church that was in the city. He was the one in charge of the choir mass and everything. Singing very well, very cool guy. Like, everything was well, good morals and so on. So now when we now started the practice in the hospital, God, this is where everything started to be something else. Like something else. The nightmare started. This is how I was going to the thing to the hospital, because our cycle was 1 month each department and so on. I think this is actually where I started loving pediatrics, because of this, my senior, I repeated pediatric cycle like 2 or 3 times. Uncle will always give bad report of me. He will say that I don't come on time, I come late, I don't take night shift and everything. During night shift, I sleep, I don't. my guy, I was doing the way I was passionate about this medicine. Like night shift, my eyes are open. And our shift could be like 3 days consecutively, like, but still, I was my guy will give report, I will repeat just to frustrate me, and so on. Surgery, repeated surgery. And I remember one day he was giving report of me in front of the director of the hospital and everything. I couldn't even recognize it was myself. The kind of trash he said and everything, I couldn't contain myself. I just exploded and I started talking. I said everything, all kind of trash possible and so on. And the way everybody took it calmly, I got to realize that people actually know. And even some staff of the hospital were his partners into those things. So things got a little bit worse. I still remember they made me fail all my subject that year. It was quite terrible. I had to even lie to my mom that I don't have holiday. I had to stay because I couldn't tell my mom that I failed with the money they were paying for. I couldn't tell my mom that I failed all the subject. Like, how can you fail all the subject? Not only a semester, a whole year you failed in all the subject. It was very, very rough. So I just said, let me just share this story because there are a lot of things happening in medical schools in Africa, and sometimes our parents are not even aware of that because we are scared to tell them. We don't know how they are going to react. Are they even going to believe, and so on. But I can tell you, it was a very, very frustrating period of my life. And right now, when I'm even thinking about it, I'm even laughing and so on. But I really thought this guy would do something strong to me. And after insisting, when they say resist the devil and he will flee, he just understood that he can't. He even ended up knowing where I was living and everything. I just had to open my eyes one day to him and tell him, if you try any shit with me, you're going to see something. That's when he started also being scared of me and so on. And later on, apparently he went to do his proposals to another guy that was in another year. I don't know if the guy accepted or not. I was